This drawing, I think a couple days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, just in my downtime, and I posted it right on Twitter, and then I ended up deleting it just, I don't know, probably half an hour after I posted it, because I kept looking at the piece and I was feeling very frustrated with it. I felt like there was something off about it, and I looked, well, first off, I put it away for a while. I didn't look at it for a little bit until today, and I was looking at this, and I was looking at the sketch, the original sketch that I had done of this, just because, you know, I always keep my sketch layers to look back on for reference, and I realized I have a reoccurring problem with my painting, and that is, as I paint, and this doesn't happen as much when I'm just coloring lines, but if I'm painting in particular, I have a very bad habit of losing track of the essence of the sketch. So the thing with the way I paint, I think, and my biggest fault when it comes to this is I lose my angles. I lose the original guides I had set, and I don't look at my sketch layer enough. And now there's something to be said about correcting your sketch as you paint. This is also very important. This is something that, you know, I think all artists should learn how to do, because that's inherent to the process. But at the same time, sketching is the most fluid part of your process. That's going to be where, you know, where the movement of the figure and the concept all starts. So I think when I start to lose that sketch, that's what creates the distance between, you know, my mind and the piece that I'm looking at. And it's admittedly frustrating to me when I look at a painting that I've done, and I feel bad because I've strayed and I can fix it, but I'm irritated that I have to fix it. I feel like that's something I shouldn't have to do in the first place, because why can't I just stick to, you know, what I had originally done? So I think that's, again, what happened with this piece here, and along with some other things that, you know, I think that compositionally this, you know, could have been done differently. So I don't know if I'm ever actually going to end up, you know, quote unquote finishing this, but I think as I grow as an artist, the most important thing for me is definitely going to be learning how to, you know, improve upon my sketch as I work, but also how to remember the lines that I had originally worked on, the original movement, angles of the piece, and, you know, continue to work from there. So I'm glad I look back on the sketch. You know, I think it's a good thing to rework this. I think I just need to get over the frustration that I have to, instead of just getting it right in the first place. You know, that's something that perhaps comes with experience, and, you know, it's also a relatively recent realization of mine. So maybe as I, you know, stay cognizant of this and keep this in mind, perhaps it'll get better. But in the meantime, you know, that's the frustration is just part of the process, I guess. And I can continue to fix things. I can work on, I guess, the muscle memory of retaining that. See, I recently switched over to Photoshop just to play around with this a little bit with my new brushes, and it's all fun, except for sometimes when I'm zooming, it'll do funny things. It'll kind of like move my viewing window to where I don't want it. So if you see me running around on my screen, that's probably what's happening. But yeah, so I deleted this painting, And I kept looking at it, and it was frustrating me, so I put it away for a bit. And I think now that I'm looking back at it again today, this evening, I kind of have a better understanding as to why this wasn't really working for me. I think also I need to do something. See, that's what I mean by my window running away. I need to do something with this in terms of, I think, his clothing. So part of the reason why I picked this reference, or the reference was just like this young man kind of crouching in this weird position, and I like the idea of drawing Halvard in these kind of weird, not contorted, but just slightly off positions. And I realized that the cloak is kind of hiding a lot of that, so I think I might actually, so you can see the original shape of his body here, the way it was outlined. I think I might have to do an overhaul and just completely readjust the way his clothing looks, so that, you know, there's more focus on the way his body is curved over, kind of in a weird way. I think an important part of this, you know, Hal's character is the way he moves and the way he positions himself. I like the idea of something a little off-putting about the way that he sits, stands, and walks. So I think in the future, as I draw, I can kind of push myself to try evoking that in my work. I don't exactly know how yet, but I think that would be a fun thing to experiment with. So what I might do here is, so the clothing that the Varangians wore, along with, you know, other people in the Byzantine Empire, and also, you know, further up north where Hal and Harry are from, they wore these cloaks where there was this pin, and then it kind of, it's like a single sheet that wraps around, and it's all like kind of brought together by this pin. I don't remember off the top of my head what it's called. It's set to the sea. I have it in my notes. I should probably know. Yeah, so like it would be pinned here. In fact, I could actually put the pin there instead, and then maybe that way you can see more of his body. I don't know what he'd be wearing. Maybe he'd be wearing his mail. Maybe he'd be wearing his cute little fancy clothes. We'll see. I might have to play around with that a bit, do some sketching, put on just a cute little belt. Special to me. I think it's weird calling him cute, but I don't know. He's like my little Barbie, I guess. We'll have to see. I guess this would come up this way. I don't know. I might keep playing around with it. And then, you know, eventually this wraps around towards the back, falls down the back, and then the mass of the fabric would be kind of behind him, behind his legs. But yeah, so I think if I post something and I'm looking at it on my timeline, I just see that there's something off about it, something I don't like. I think I need to learn that reworking, going back to the sketch is okay, and that there's still something to learn from that, and over time I'll hopefully be able to do that less and less with experience.